Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Though there's been another massive movement of XRP, there's an article from crypto media outlet U Today, and it's titled, Nearly 68.5 million XRP transferred to Bybit from anonymous wallet with major exchange behind it. So I'm going to run through this in this video. I also want to share with you some tweets from, some of the XRP community, but also Maddie Greenspan, who just isn't happy with the XRP community. And I'll wrap up the video with this article from Daily Hodl, which is titled, This $10 billion Wealth Advisor Says Bitcoin Pump Poised to Continue, and Here's Why. And indeed, and I'll make a separate video where I talk about price today, but I did want to mention this because presumably, and this is from a notable individual here, let's just say that crypto's heading in the right direction price-wise. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, you have come to the right spot, my friend. This is an XRP-centric channel, so go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. All right, let's jump in now. A short while ago, the Whale Alert account on Twitter spotted, I'll just round it up, 68.5 million XRP, and that's worth about $17.1 million, United States dollars. It was transferred from an anonymous wallet to the Singapore-based Bybit crypto exchange, which launched in 2018. However, the BitPump analytical website shows that the sender's wallet was activated by a top crypto exchange via several other users and wallets. Now, what is this top crypto exchange? Which exchange is it? The one in question here. Well, it's Huobi. And there's a subheading here. Huobi sends a large XRP portion to Bybit. Whale Alert has detected that almost 68.5 million in XRP has been moved to Bybit from an anonymous wallet. Still, data from the BitHomp website shows that if you follow the user who activated this online crypto storage space, you'll end up seeing a cryptocurrency wallet set up by the Huobi exchange. If that's how you pronounce it. I've always been one. I haven't heard anyone else enunciate it, so Huobi, that sounds like a reasonable way to approach that, I'm guessing now. And Huobi here, I actually pulled up their website here, and I'd never really looked them up before, despite seeing them pop up fairly regularly in crypto media articles for various reasons. And so I googled, where is Huobi Exchange located? Well, as it turns out, they're also in Singapore. Huobi is a Singapore-based cryptocurrency exchange. It was founded in China. The company now has offices in Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, and the United States. So why is a massive Singapore-based cryptocurrency exchange sending that much XRP to a different Singapore-based crypto exchange? And Bybit, I was not familiar with them, at least I couldn't recall having seen them off the top of my head, but I went to their website as well. And indeed, they have just been around since 2018. But most of these cryptocurrency exchanges are going to sound pretty young, given that the asset class has only been around for a little over a decade. And that, funny enough, makes Huobi one of the older cryptocurrency exchanges. They've been around since 2013, and on their website here they have states they have 233 assets listed on their exchange, and the 24-hour trading volume is notable. It's pretty high, 8.8 billion in terms of U.S. dollars here. Anyway, let me scroll a little bit further. Wait, I think I just lost my spot. I apologize. Here we go. There we go. The community again suspects that a dump of the XRP price is coming. Now, this is crypto media, so instead of writing XRP, which is what they intended, they wrote XPR. So apparently there's going to be an XPR dump. It's coming. Crypto media. I love you. And then they write in parentheses, however, some users in the comment thread, on the contrary, believe this transaction is aimed at pumping XRP, as it often happens when large XRP amounts are moved to crypto exchanges. And then recently, it seems that investor interest in XRP has spiked, with many gargantuan transactions have been spotted by Whale Alert and XRPL Monitor since the coin recovered the psychological level of 25 cents. And so many in the XRP community are certain that this year is going to be successful for the coin. Well, if I had to guess, it's probably going to be better than 2019. Is that a fair guess? I think it's probably reasonable there. But other than that, and I pulled up the thread here, and there really wasn't a whole lot of. It's like sometimes they frame it like, oh my God, there's this outcry from the XRP community. So I just looked through it, and there's really not. You do see like Bitcoin maxi trolls. Just people that are anti-Ripple and XRP that are kind of bitching about this, but there isn't even a ton of that. And, the top comment also wrote, somebody is going too long. So there you go. We're going to see more and more of this, though, as attention comes back to the cryptocurrency asset class, because this market cycle, many believe that we already saw the bottom recently. Many believe in heading upwards, right? And so ideally, we'll see. But that would be the right direction. I would prefer that. Let's take a look at this now. There's a tweet that caught my attention from Maddie Greenspan. And I've covered a fair bit of his stuff recently. He has these interesting ideas about XRP and why it's going to be dethroned by central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. And so I've made videos, and he's watched at least one of my videos where I was talking about what he had to say. And he said that your boy Moon Lambo here is just the blind leading the blind. That's okay. But, sometimes you get comments like that from when somebody just disagrees with you. Some people kind of get offended if you have a different belief than theirs. But I don't respond like that. But anyway, he talks about XRP a fair bit. And so he wrote this. Okay, let's play this out, XRP people. You can do this. I'm sensing a little bit of sarcasm there. If in the extremely unlikely event that for some reason all the miners in China would suddenly disappear, what would happen to Bitcoin? It would continue running without them. And this was what he wrote along with a retweet, which was one of his from one of his other tweets, which I'm gonna go to that thread in just a second here. But somebody responded to this tweet from Maddie and wrote, "Can you tell me what will happen when all Bitcoin are mined? What will they do? They won't be around for confirming transactions. Its 2020 transaction cost should be 0. And if Satoshi never comes forward, I can't see governments or banks supporting Bitcoin. The factor unknown is a no-go." And I had been wondering this myself. What exactly happens once all Bitcoin is mined? What's the incentive to stick around? And Maddie responded with this. Block rewards are set to expire circa 2140. That's the best way to say it. 2140. The year 2140. 2140. We have some time until we need to figure this out. So I think the answer is there is no answer. It could be a problem. But hey, we've got 120 years to figure this out, presuming that Bitcoin's still around and actually getting used. I suspect the blockchain will still be around, but at a minimum, just because it's an antique, so I could see people, just because it's what started it all, keeping the blockchain going, perhaps. But in terms of real-world adoption and a reasonable market value, I'm still highly skeptical, because I think that utility matters, and frankly, it's just not getting used for anything here. So here's the next thread here with Maddie Greenspan. The number of people responding to this saying China or pool operators is just appalling. Obviously, people need to study a bit more how this works before replying with this garbage. And that was another retweet. So he's got this whole thread where he's like, he writes something, retweets it, writes more, and then retweets that. Kind of interesting here. And he doesn't like the XRP people response, but I'm not seeing what he's talking about here, because he did cite that in this thread there were supposed to be a bunch of XRP people kind of bashing. I didn't really see that here, but still some of this was interesting here. So the number of people responding to this saying, again, China or pool operators is just appalling. Obviously, people need to study a bit more how this works before replying with garbage. And then somebody named Chris Webb responded, last time I checked, 75+% of Bitcoin's hash rate was controlled by 6 mining pools in China. A simple Chinese government phone call could significantly disrupt Bitcoin. While it wouldn't take down the network, it would allow them to do a chain reorganization. And Maddie responded to that, writing, you obviously have not checked. If you have, I'm dying to hear about your methodology. And he did respond with this article titled, Can Bitcoin Survive China Mining Pool Attack Without Chain Locks? And then he wrote, according to the cited research paper, 80% of Bitcoin's hash rate is controlled by 6 pools. 5 of which are located in China. And that's why in this original tweet here, where he's talking about what happens if the Chinese miners go away, that's not really as much the question as if they collude and end up going through chain reorganization, that is, double spending, rewriting history. Not so much a firm answer for Maddie there. And then next in this thread was interesting too, because Galgatron jumped in. And so here's the original tweet from Maddie Greenspan. Get rid of Craig Wright and Bitcoin SV dies. Remove Roger Ver, I think he meant Ver, and Bitcoin Cash is worthless. How many people would he need to take out to make Bitcoin disappear? And Galgatron responded, 4 Chinese mining pool operators. Straight to the point. Brevity is the soul of wit. Bill Shakespeare said that. And then somebody named Fabio responded, mining pools have no power at all. People just switch to one another. Another one happened before, will happen again. The argument that mining is centralized in China is BS and debunked, and I don't think that's true at all. I think it's absolutely a factual case that mining is centralized in China, and I have read through this. Now, Galgatron responded and wrote, yes, as they all say because they don't understand this attack. Please read this specific attack. Has not been debunked. Then he links to one of his blogs right here. And then Fabio responded, not realizing that Galgatron was the author of the link that he provided here. And he wrote, this blog post is just S-word posting with no research at all. 81% of all mining done in China. Never heard of such BS. Check the data yourself before believing a random blog post with no background and no research at all. Yeah, that's hilarious to me. It's not a random blog post. Galgatron wrote it. And then Galgatron did respond writing, how does showing me a chart of pool hash rate allocation counter the idea that Chinese miners, not the pools, the miners themselves, as in the miners, not the pools, not the pools, the miners, represent a large chunk of hash rate? To which there never was ultimately a response. But fascinating stuff there. So, if you're XRP, though, you are a decentralized cryptocurrency not requiring mining. We don't need to worry about how the network will operate 120 years down the road. We solve the double spend problem another way. Now take a look at this article. This $10 billion wealth advisor says Bitcoin pump poised to continue, and here's why. Nigel Green, the founder and CEO of the international financial consultancy giant De Beer Group, says Bitcoin's recent rise is likely to continue due to global fears about the coronavirus. In a new note written on Monday, Green says Bitcoin's price parallels the spread of the virus. And here's a quote. The more cases confirmed, the more countries affected, and the bigger the impact on traditional financial markets, the more Bitcoin's price has increased. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases has climbed to 17,491, up from 9,925 since Friday. So quite a jump up. And that's according to the Johns Hopkins data tracker. Now, since originating in Wuhan, China, the virus has spread to at least 27 countries, claiming 362 lives, shuttering a spat of international flights, closing borders, disrupting travel, rattling stock markets, and impacting China's economy. On Monday, the Shanghai Composite dropped almost 8%, shedding $393 billion. And here's another quote from Green. As such, it can be reasonably assumed the price of Bitcoin will likely continue to surge until the coronavirus peaks, which could potentially be April or May, according to a research group based in Hong Kong. The principal reason why investors have been recently piling into Bitcoin is because it is increasingly thought of as a safe haven asset during times of uncertainty. And I will say that there isn't enough data to indicate that's the case, but I certainly am not going to deny it's a possibility that Bitcoin, along with other cryptocurrencies, could prove to be safe haven assets in the long run, though. But anyway, that is it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!